Wake up, my child, please wake up. Amina, your mother is here now. Wake up, Amina. Open your eyes, Amina, please. Wake up for me. Amina, wake up.
The first time Amina saw the video, she thought it was someone else. It had to be, because the girl in that clip, broken, crying, begging, couldn't be her. But it was. And by the time she realized it, it had already been shared hundreds of times. It started with a simple opportunity. Amina had just gained admission into university, first in her family. The kind of news that makes a blind mother in a village weep with her hands pressed to her chest, feeling joy she cannot see, but can absolutely hold. Her mother had danced when they told her, actually danced, right there in the compound, her wrappers swirling. But the fees were a different matter entirely. Her parents had poured everything into the admission process. There was nothing left for what came next, and Amina, being who she was, the daughter who never wanted to be a burden, began to look for a way. That was when she met Tunde, smooth, calm, helpful in the way that only dangerous people can be. He had the kind of smile that arrived before his words, the kind that made you feel chosen. "I can help you," he said. "I know people." He introduced her to someone who promised a small job. Light work. Errands, they called it. Nothing serious. Just enough to cover her first semester. Amina agreed. Of course she agreed. What else could she do? The first few weeks were normal. Genuinely normal. She ran a few messages, helped with some logistics she didn't fully understand, but had no reason to question. The money came. She slept easier. Then came the invitation. "Just a small gathering," Tunde said. "Networking, people who can open doors for you." She asked twice if it was appropriate. He laughed both times. Easy, reassuring. She trusted him. That trust would destroy her life. The gathering was in a house she didn't recognize, in a part of the city that felt removed from everything familiar. There were drinks, laughter, music that was too loud and too insistent. People who smiled at her in ways she couldn't quite read. She held her glass and tried to feel comfortable. Then, darkness. Not sleep, not rest. Darkness. Amina woke the next morning feeling like she had been turned inside out. Her body ached in ways she had no language for. Her head was thick, her thoughts slippery. She looked down. Her clothes were not her own. She tried to piece the night together, tried to find the edges of what had happened. But every time she reached for a memory, it dissolved, scattered, broken into fragments that refused to form a whole. She told herself maybe it was nothing. Maybe she had simply drunk too much. Maybe. The message arrived. A video, sent directly to her phone. "Cooperate, or we post it." Her hands shook as she pressed play. The girl on the screen was broken, crying. And it was her. It was absolutely, unmistakably her. They had drugged her, used her, filmed everything. And now, they owned her. 1 million naira, they said, or the video goes everywhere. She sat with that number for a long time. 1 million naira. She who had come to them searching for money to pay her school fees. She whose mother danced in a compound in a village because her daughter had gained admission. Where would she find 1 million naira? She pressed her face into her hands and wept until there was nothing left to weep with. For weeks, she lived inside that silence. Fear controlled her mornings. Shame buried her voice. She went to lectures like a ghost, sat in the back rows, avoided eye contact, dodged the friends who noticed something was wrong, and asked questions she could not answer. She could not tell her parents. Her father, who had borrowed money for her forms. Her mother, who could not see, but had felt every step of this journey with her hands and her heart. She could not tell anyone, because the fear was not only the video. It was what came after. The judgment, the whispers, the questions she could already hear forming in the mouths of people who had never been desperate a day in their lives. What was she doing there? Why did she go? She should have known better. So she paid what she could scrape together. Then they asked for more. She stopped sleeping properly. She stopped eating properly. She moved through her days like someone who had already half left the world. Then the video leaked anyway. No negotiation. no final demand. Just everywhere, all at once. Within hours, it had spread across campus, into group chats, onto timelines, into the phones of people who had never met her and would never know her name beyond this moment. Strangers watched. Some laughed, some commented, some shared it with captions that turned her pain into a punchline. Her name became a topic. Her suffering became entertainment. Amina stopped going out, stopped answering calls, stopped showing up to lectures. The roommates noticed, but didn't press too hard. She had always been quiet. Maybe she just needed space. In the village, her mother began to hear things. The way news travels in small places, bending and reshaping itself as it passes through each mouth. She didn't understand fully what was being said, only that something had happened to her daughter. Something bad. She told the neighbors to call Amina, to tell her that no matter what, she still loved her, that nothing changed. They called and called. Amina did not pick up. At night, her mother would walk out into the compound and ask neighbors to try again, her hands moving over the phone in someone else's palm, pressing it gently, as if she could reach through it herself. Still nothing. 2 weeks later, Amina's roommate noticed the door had been locked for too long. Not the polite quiet of someone who needed rest. Something else. Something heavier. When they finally forced it open, she was there. Gone. She had taken herself out of a world that had watched her drown and called it content. The same accounts that shared the video began posting condolences. Rest in peace. The same feeds that had laughed now filled with "this is so sad and we have to do better," and broken heart emojis lined up in rows. Everybody's still posting. Her body was brought home to the village. Her mother was there when they arrived. She didn't need anyone to tell her. A mother always knows when she is receiving the wrong kind of news in the wrong kind of silence. She reached out her hands. She traced her daughter's face, the same face she had memorized long ago through fingertips, when eyes were no longer enough. The forehead, the cheekbones, the jaw. She held her daughter tightly, the way she had held her as a small girl when the nights were too dark and the world felt too large. And then she cursed them. Not quietly, not politely. With every grief her body could produce, she cursed the people who had done this. She cursed them the way only a mother can, from somewhere ancient and absolute, from a place where love and fury are the same thing. No one in that compound said a word. Back on campus, the posting continued. Mental health matters. Protect women. She didn't deserve this. All true, all genuine perhaps. All far, far too late. Because here is the thing about Amina's story that no caption captures, no tribute post addresses, no string of emojis contains. She was not silent because she was weak. She was silent because she already knew how the world would respond. She had watched it happen to others. She knew the questions that would come disguised as concern. She knew that the moment her story became public, she would stop being a person and become a lesson, a warning, a debate. She calculated the cost of speaking, and she decided she could not afford it. That calculation was not wrong. That is the unbearable part. The video was a crime. The blackmail was a crime. But the silence that killed her, that was built by all of us, brick by brick. Every time we asked what was she wearing, every time we shared without thinking, every time we watched and said nothing, every time we made survival feel more costly than disappearing. She is gone. And somewhere, a blind mother traces the memory of a face with her hands. And a campus continues to post. Why do people only feel pain after it is too late? Perhaps the better question is this: what are you willing to do, right now, today, before it is too late for someone else, to make sure the next girl knows the world will hold her instead of bury her? Because Amina came looking for help. She found it in the wrong hands. Make sure yours are the right ones. If you or someone you know is experiencing blackmail, sexual exploitation, or emotional distress, please reach out to a trusted person, a counselor, or a crisis support line. You are not alone. What happened to you is not your shame to carry.